Hey guys, it's Alicia. Super Bowl Sunday, and like a lot of you cookiers, I agreed to bring cookies today, and I've run out of time. So I'm going to show you guys how to do a really fast print and cut so that you can avoid piping, because I just don't have time to flood and pipe today and bring my cookies. So here's what I'm going to do. I've already made my cookie cutter. I can show you that in another tutorial. Now I'm going to go to Silhouette, and here is the cookie cutter that I made the other day. And I had mirrored it because obviously when you press down the cookie cutter, I'll explain later. So I'm going to go to Object, Mirror, and I'm going to flip horizontally. Okay, so now that looks similar, right, to my other, to my artwork. So now I'm going to bring in my football trophy artwork. So I'm going to go into, there's football trophy, click OK. Okay, there's our football trophy. So now I'm going to select this. I'm going to do Command C. I'm going to go into here, go Command V. Okay, so the idea here is that I want to make sure it's a little bit smaller. So I've selected it, I'm holding down Shift, and I'm clicking, and I'm just dragging it so it's a little bit smaller, because I want it to be able to fit on my cookie. And that looks pretty good. Actually, maybe make it a little bit smaller. Okay, I think that's good. Okay, so now what I can do is I can get rid of this file. And this, I'm going to go into here and go to my send, and I'm just going to hit cut edge on that. Okay, so let's do no cut, and okay, let's do, it's not letting me cut edge. Okay, so here's what we're going to do. So I need to do an offset. This is actually good kind of real world problems. So I need to do an offset here. So I'm going to make sure this is all grouped. It's grouped. And I'm going to go to Object. Actually, let's go over here to the Offset panel, because I use this a lot. So we go to our Offset here, and we have a little bit of an offset. Okay, I want to make way less than that, right? So, because basically I'm just creating a cut file, so I want it to just be the tiniest little bit of an offset. So if you can see over here, I'm just lowering this offset to, I only want it to be like 0.05. That's it. Okay, I'm gonna hit apply. And now I'm gonna drag my artwork off of here, and that looks pretty good. What I might do is I might double click it and go to simplify, because that path looks like it could be using a little simplify. Yeah, see, that's better. So, okay, so now I have here, so I'm going to go back in. I just dragged across my artwork. I'm going into send, and I'm going to go to no, and that's already a no cut, so we're good. So now I'm just going to pull this over here. Let's see if we can align these guys. So I just dragged across both objects in Silhouette Studio. I'm going to center it and center it. See how that just centers it perfectly. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get rid of the red line, because you can see here this red line will actually print. We don't want to see that red line. So I'm going to go back, center this again, center there, and I'm going to get rid of my red line. See, I'm going to click this little box with little cross hatches on them. Okay, so now I have no, you can't see it though. So now what we need to do is drag across both pieces of artwork, right click, hit group. Okay, so now I have my first one. So I'm going to go and actually I'm going to set up my page now. So here I have, I know my frosting sheets are, what are they? Okay, I actually have to go look. I think that my frosting sheets are, I think they're 8.25 by 11.5. I think that's what they are. I'll have to go check that. I'll pause the camera and check that. Okay, so now here I need to go there. So I have that set up. Now I need to put my registration marks on. And if you haven't done a print and cut, this is really important. I've said this before in other videos, but that you want to stay within this red line for your artwork. So if I go here, it looks like it's in there, but sometimes some of the cut lines can sit outside of it. Okay, so now we're going to go to cut. Okay, see what I just did? Now all of it would cut. See, all those little red lines, that's where you would cut. We don't want that. We want it to just cut around the edge. So I'm going to go here, just cut edge, and see now the red line is just going around our artwork. That's what we want. Okay, So that looks good. It's we can bring this to the edge, and now I'm going to duplicate it. So I'm going to pull this across, and on a Mac it's Option, it's Alt on a PC. So if I press down, you can see this little plus sign, and I just drag across it, and now I'm able to duplicate it. And I can do it again. See that? So I'm going to do it another time. There's my plus sign. So I'm holding Option on a Mac, Alt on a PC. So now I can get 3 of these on here, right? Okay, look at that. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pause this, and we'll load the frosting sheets in. I'll double check my frosting sheet size, and we'll get printing this. Hey, I'm back, and I did a test cut, and it looked like these, my shapes were just a little too big for my cookie, and you'll see what I mean later on. So I have reduced them in size, and I was actually able to add another one of these, which is great because I can use more frosting sheet. So now I'm going to go to my print. Again, like I've said before in other videos, you want to double check your print settings. So I'm going to go to File, Print Page Setup. And here I'm going to choose my edible ink printer, and I'm actually going to choose my wafer paper size because my paper is actually 8.25 by 11.75 inches, and I'm going to click OK. So now I'm going to go up to Print, and I'm going to go to Quality and Media. I'm going to choose Plain Paper, Rear Tray, and I'm going to pick High, and I'm going to go to Print. Okay, I'm back, and my frosting sheet is all dry, so I can actually go to cut it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this on, it's just a basic Silhouette mat, a sticky kind. And you can't really see this, but there's this little edge up here, but I'm going to line this up, this little plastic edge up to the top, just like you would with a piece of cardstock. So I'm going to lay this down on the mat, and the great thing is that the frosting sheets have a liner on the back, so I don't have to worry about my frosting touching my mat. Now I only use this mat for frosting and food. I don't use it for anything else. Okay, so now I'm going to feed this into my Silhouette. I'm going to line it up on the side. I'm going to load it. Okay, we are ready to cut. So I'm going to go into my send, and I'm doing a cut edge. That looks really good. My settings are going to be, I'm going to be cut 5, 2 passes, and I'm going to bump this all the way up to 33. And I just chose the plain paper. I'm really doing a custom setting. But the frosting sheets are pretty thick, so you want to use, excuse me, you want to use a higher blade setting, higher blade depth. So now we're going to go to send. Okay, so my shapes are cut out, and if you want to check before you unload it, if they've actually cut out, what you can do is just peel up one of the corners from here. See, look at that. I got a good cut. If I hadn't gotten a cut, I would just send it through and do another print, but I'm good. So I'm going to unload this, and then I still have the backer on here, and I want to keep the backer so I can transfer these shapes easily. And so look how beautiful that cut job is. Oh my gosh. Okay, look at this. That's awesome. So now I'm going to take these over, and we're actually going to put them on the cookies. I'll show you how to do that. Okay guys, I'm back, and we're ready to assemble our cookies. So I have my frosting sheet cutouts, and they are just the right size. What I want to be able to do is have a little bit of an edge, because I'm going to pipe some royal icing just around the edge. But first what I'm going to do is I'm going to take these, and I'm actually going to, I thinned out some corn syrup, and I just with water, and I have a food safe brush here, and I'm just going to brush the back of the frosting sheet with the corn syrup. This will allow, this is my glue to allow it to stick to my cookie. You can use royal icing, and people have done that, and that totally works too. I just like the fact this is clear and a little less messy. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to take this and I'm going to stick it onto my cookie. Okay. And what I actually found is the backer from these works really nicely to press down so I don't get fingerprints on it and I don't mess up my beautiful frosting sheet. Okay, and then now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to pipe a little edge. Oh man, I am never believed that. Look what happened. Okay, I'm going to be back, but this is real life, guys. This is what happens. This is what happened with my piping bag. So I gotta go get a new piping bag. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That was crazy. That was black icing everywhere. So, okay, so now what I'm gonna do is I'm just gonna pipe little thin edge. Let's check this one more time. Yay. Okay, no bursting. That's awesome. Okay, so now I'm just gonna do a little teeny black edge. And this is one reason why if you saw that there was a little bit of white around the edge of this, and if you're thinking, oh my gosh, it's gonna show, we're covering up the edge anyhow. So I'm just gonna do a thin bead. I'm using a number 2 tip. And I'm just gonna go around the edge of our frosting sheet. Okay, I'm going to take my scribe, just clean this up a little bit, bring this in a little bit where I'm seeing some white edges. But all in all, it looks pretty darn good. So if you can see that, there is our finished cookie. So now I'm just going to let these sit out to dry, and like this one, once the royal icing is dry, I'm ready to go. I can just bring these to my party. Awesome. Hey guys, I'm back, and look at this. My cookies are done. So I did a dozen cookies, and I gotta tell you, I put these in the oven at 7:30 this morning, and it's about 10 o'clock, and I'm finished with them. That is an amazing time saver. Piping, I kind of rushed through it, so if you see some little bobbles here and there, that's okay. These are going for friends, and I mean, I could do 100 of these in such a quick amount of time. It's amazing. So if you like what you see today, please subscribe and like my channel, and join me again. I'm going to be spreading joy and being authentic with you guys, making mistakes along the way, but you're with me on this, and I would love to hear what you guys want to see. If there's any videos you want or tutorials that you want, please comment in the comments, and find me on Instagram at AliciaLong_, and we'll be back baking soon. Thanks guys.